Okay, Wildcats, today we're looking at Thursday, November 29th, factoring GCF, which is also known as the greatest common factor, on page 29. So if you would, update your table of contents. All right, now your table of contents are updated. Let's take a look at our examples on page 29. All right, so we're going to factor the polynomial. So today's all about factoring out the greatest common factor. So in this case, it looks like the greatest common factor is 4 because 8 divides by 4 and 12 is divided by 4. And it also looks like they both have an x. X squared is x and x, and x is just one x. So they each have an x. So we can take out an x. If we do that, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and we only took one x, so there's x left over, plus 12 divided by 4 is 3, and we factored out the x. Now, you want to make sure that this is correct by multiplying back. So 4x times 2x is 8x squared, and 4x times 3 is 12x. All right, let's take a look at example 2. So here, we think about what's the largest number that we can factor out of 24 and 36. And I'm thinking the largest number is 6. So let's think about it. 6, 12, 18, 24. Yep, 6, 12, 18, 24, 36. Now, we can take an x out as before. And then that leaves 24 divided by 6 is 4. We have an x left over. Plus 36 divided by 6 is 6. Now, it looks like we can actually factor out some more, so we can factor out a 2. And this could happen. You don't factor out the greatest common factor the first time. So it'd be 6x times, well, we can divide both of these by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now it looks like we factored out the greatest common factor, which in this case, if we multiply 6 times 2, which is 12x. So in this case, the GCF was actually 12, not 6. All right. Now let's take a look at example 3. Now it looks like here the greatest common factor is 5. That's pretty straightforward. So we factor out a 5, which leaves 1x squared plus 3x minus 10. And the way you get that is 5 divided by 5 is 1, 15 divided by 5 is 3, negative 50 divided by 5 is negative 10. And let's see if I can adjust the lighting here and make it brighter. All right, sorry about the blurriness. All right, now it looks like we can actually go further and factor this. So we're going to draw a box. Remember, our final answer is going to have 5 in it. So first term, last term, and the middle term is 3x. Now we need to find all the combinations make negative 10. Okay, so 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And then 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Now we know to make x squared 1x and 1x. Now only one of these combinations is going to work. And the way to find that is we need to find a positive 3. So now we multiplied to find negative 10. Now we need to combine to find positive 3. So 1 minus 10 is negative 9. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. 5 minus 2 is a positive 3. So that means this combination right here works. So our answers are x plus 5 and x minus 2. 1x times 5, let's check to make sure this works, is 5x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2x. 5 minus 2 is 3. So we have our factors as 5 times 1x minus 2 and 1x plus 5. All right, let's take a look at example 4. All right, looks like here we can factor out the greatest common factor of 2, which leaves 1x squared plus 11x plus 24. And the way you get that is 2 divided by 2 is 1, 22 divided by 2 is 11, 48 divided by 2 is 24. Now it looks like here we draw our box. So first term is 1x squared, last term is 24, and middle term is 11x. Now we know our final answer is going to have a positive 2, and we know that 1x times 1x makes 1x squared. Now we need to find all the combinations to make 24. So 1 times 24 equals 24, 2 times 12 equals 24, 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 6 is 24, 5 doesn't work, 6 times 4 is 24. Now, we're looking to find one of these combinations to make positive 11. So 1 plus 24 is 25, that didn't work. 2 plus 12 is 14, that didn't work. 3 plus 8 is 11. That means that combination works, so our answers are x plus 3, x plus 8. So 1x times 3 is 3x, 8 times 1 is 8x, 8 plus 3 is 11, this works, so our answer is 2 times 1x plus 8 times 1x plus 3. All right, example 5. So it looks like here, now whenever you have a negative in the a value, which that is, you want to factor out the negative number. So in this case, we're going to factor out a negative 3. Well, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 1x squared. Now here, 13 doesn't divide by 3, so we actually can't factor out a negative 3. Okay, so the largest number we can factor out is a negative 1. So negative 3 divided by negative 1 is 3x squared. 13 divided by negative 1 is a negative 13x. And then 10 divided by negative 1 is a negative 10. Now, again, we're going to draw our box. So first term is 3x squared. Last term is negative 10. And remember that negative 1 will be part of our answer. So now the only combination that makes 3x is 3x and 1x. Now we need to find all the combinations to make negative 10. So 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Now we need the middle term to be negative 13. Now, this method really doesn't work nicely when the numbers aren't 1. So this really becomes trial and error. So we know one of these combinations works. So let's start with 1 and negative 10. So plus 1, negative 10. Well, 1 times 3 is 3x. negative 10 times 1 is negative 10x. That doesn't combine to be negative 13, but wait, you have to try the other combination. So now we have to put negative 10 here and positive 1. So 3x times negative 10 is negative 3x. 1 times 1 is 1x. This combination doesn't make 13, so this combination doesn't work. Okay. So now let's try 2 and negative 5. So plus 2, negative 5. So 2 times 3 is 6x. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5x. That doesn't combine to be 13. So now we have to try the other combination, putting the negative 5 here and the plus 2 here. So 3 times negative 5 is negative 15x. 2 times 1 is 2x. Negative 15 and 2x becomes negative 13. So now we have our factors as negative 1 times 3x plus 2 times 1x minus 5. Okay, so finish up example 5. All right, now let's take a look at, now remember, this is going to be in your journal. And this is also going to be in your journal on page 29. Okay, example 6. So it looks like here, the greatest common factor, you want to say 8, but 12 divided by 8 and 16 divided by 8. No, 16 works, but 12 doesn't. So the largest is 4, which leaves 2x squared plus 3x plus 4. All right. Now, the way we got this, 8 divided by 4 is 2, 12 divided by 4 is 3, 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now we draw our box. And don't forget that 4 is part of our final answer. Now, first term is 2x squared. Last term is 4. Now we know to make 2x squared is 2x and 1x. Now we need to find all the combinations of 4. Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 1 is 4. All right, so now because there's other numbers on the one, we have to trial and error, and we're trying to get 3x. So we try plus 1 plus 4. Well, that's 2x, and that's 4x. That doesn't combine to be 3. So now we have to switch. So that's plus 4 plus 1. That's 8x, and that's 1x. Well, that combines to be 9x. This combination doesn't work, and this one doesn't work because we tried both combinations. So the only possibility is we have 2 and 2. Now, we don't have to switch them because it's the same number. So 2 times 2 is 4x. 2 times 1 is 2x. That combines to be 6x, not 3x. So this combination doesn't work. So we would say that this is not factorable. So the only thing you can do is factor out the greatest common factor. And the rest is not factorable. All right, example 7. So it looks like here, the only possible number I think it could be 3, so let's try that. So let's factor out a 3. And it looks like we both have an x, so I can factor out an x, which leaves 1x squared. Now we just need to see if 147 divided by 3 works. It does. It's minus 49. Now, We've seen this before, and we're going to talk about it more on Friday, November 30th. But this is a difference of squares. So this can be factored as 3x, parentheses, parentheses, 1x and 1x make 1x squared, and then -7 and a +7 make -49. So this is factored. All right, so finish up example 7. All right, example 8. So now when there's 4 terms, you factor by grouping. So we need to factor something from the first 2 terms and the second 2 terms. So it looks like here we can factor out a 2x squared, which leaves 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then x times x is x cubed, minus 10 divided by 2 is 5, and we factored out the x squared already. Now it looks like here the biggest number that we can factor out is, looks like a 9, so plus 9, because 18 divided by 9 is 2x, and 45 divided by 9 is -5. Now when factoring by grouping, if these are the same, then you combine the terms. So this becomes 2x squared plus 9 times 2x minus 5. All right, example 9. Again, if there's 4 terms, we factor by grouping. So let's see what we can factor from the first 2 terms. It looks like 20 works for the first, and then we can factor out an x squared as well. Well, 20 divided by 20 is 1. Don't forget the x, because x times x squared is x cubed, plus sorry, printer broke. All right, plus 65 by 20 is 3. Now here it looks like we can factor out a -8, I think. Now here, that leaves 1x plus 48 is 6. These are not the same, so it's not factorable by grouping. All right, now let's take a look at example 10. So it looks like here, I think you can factor out a 40 from each term, so that's 40. We can also factor out an x cubed, which leaves x plus 3. Now, we've got that 40 divided by 40 is 1, 120 divided by 40 is 3. Now, it looks like we can factor out 16, I think. So then that's minus 16. And it looks like we can factor out an x. And that leaves 1x plus 96 divided by 16 is plus 6. So in essence, same thing here. These aren't the same, so it's not factorable by grouping. All right, so with that, put those 2 pages in your journal and start working on the assignment. and have a wonderful Wildcat